the individuals are looking so hard to hold tightly onto the cash flow because that's the only value they see. They see that delta of their expenses and the income, and what can they control? They think the income's tapped out. They don't want to raise the resident's rent. They don't want to fix it up. They want to just keep it as it is. So they're going to lower the expenses. So they really only have one way to go. So they're over there, as you said, cutting the weeds, et cetera. But little do they know that investors like us, we look at it as a business. We're like, okay, we're gonna outsource a lot of these things, but we're gonna increase the value of the business. Now that may exceed what the cash flow is at first, while we're increasing the rents and fixing up the property. But in the end, we're doubling the value on the property. I mean, a perfect example, I'm selling a duplex, picked it up from a guy, he owns 2 rental properties, super proud. He fixed everything on there. He put the new windows in, he installed his ACs, painted his basement, proud of everything, because there was a neighboring property that he was like, oh, look at that place, that's terrible. It's like, yep, you're doing a great job. I was able to increase the rents right away, but it was 50% more in value in a year for me outsourcing people to help cut the lawn, paint the place, fix it up, remodel the kitchen to increase the rents. And he just didn't see it like that. All he saw was the delta in cash flow.
So that's what I'm trying to say, is that you viewed it through the business lens, right? And that's our goal. That's why we work. That's your goal. That's why we are able to build these businesses. It seems like an individual like that really enjoys the manual labor. Really, he probably put together models growing up, little toy models. Like, he loves the work and he loves the finished product. If I had a model building business, I'd hire 17 people to build 100 models and I'd sell them. But he's like, I like one. It looks beautiful. It took me 4 years. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to build a business, you have to scale ASAP.
I love real estate for one of the reasons why is that aspect of it, because there's no necessarily wrong way to go about it. I mean, there's ways that you can improve what you're doing. But if your mindset is, I am proud of what I do, I want to show because you have people that are DIY people that are really good at it and they have pride of ownership and they want their stuff to look nice and they like knowing tenants and that's great. They can do that and nobody's going to come along and audit them and say, whoa, you're doing that all wrong. That's fine for them. But if you, like you said, if you really want to scale a business, you have to look at efficiencies and leverage and get people involved that a lone wolf just isn't going to do. And I was there for a long time. I was scared to, hire people, and I'm still not as good at it as a lot of people are. But
yeah, but it happens in stages, right? I mean, at first it was like, I'm going to rent it all out myself. I'm going to paint. And then it was, I'm going to start using contractors. And then it was, maybe I can hire an admin. And then it wasn't, maybe I can hire my own maintenance crew in-house. Like, there are different stages. We're still learning to this day that it's almost like you get there, you learn what to do, and then you learn what you can hire for. And then you get there, you learn what you do, and you can hire for. It just happens in stages.
Yeah, and technically bigger's not always better, because you can grow too big too fast where you think, okay, I'm going to scale up. This is what I read in a book, and Harvard Business Journal, and I'm going to hire these 6 different people. But if you're not able to execute or help lead those people, you just have a bunch of people possibly running in the wrong direction, and you can lose your business by getting too big. So starting off small, when people ask, oh, should I buy a 200-unit multifamily right away? That's what I heard is the best thing. Grant Cardone says, don't buy a single family. I think I only own one single family outside of my house that's a rental, but I started with small multifamily, and I still think it's a quality asset to own. It's easier to trade, you can control it more, and typically you can find better deals because you are working with mom and pop individuals. So there's nothing wrong with that. As you start scaling up and getting into these larger properties, you're going to have more fierce competition that's been in this, that has deeper pockets. It doesn't mean you still can't take it down, but learning and making mistakes on a small project, replacing one HVAC too soon or doing it incorrectly, is a lot cheaper than 80 of them.
You're right. And I think people typically grew up in a house, right? For the most part, you have people that understand them. They understand the components of a house. And so if you buy one and that's your first deal and you have it as a rental property, if somebody calls you and they say the furnace is out or the window is cracked or whatever it is, you're going to probably understand what's involved in the repair or whatever. With multifamily, you may have somebody that's pissed because another tenant's parking on the parking spot, or a car rammed into the building. Like, I mean, all the crazy stuff that can happen in apartment complexes that is hard to know how to fix if you've never lived in one. Right. So I think you have to kind of walk before you run in that aspect. And I don't think there's anything wrong at all with if you have the ability and the right people around you to jump in right into multifamily, but I don't know that I could have.
Well, I mean, I think that you'd have to spend the time and effort to build that team. It just doesn't just happen overnight.